Imagine a time when the idea of a vehicle powered by anything other than horses was considered pure fantasy. Now, picture a brave woman who, in an act of audacity, decides to take this impossible machine and embark on a historic journey of over 100 kilometers, without maps, without gas stations, and without any guarantees of success. What could possibly go wrong? Or better yet, what could this incredible feat reveal about the future of human transportation? In a small workshop in the city of Mannheim, Germany during the 1880s, a visionary inventor was about to give the world one of the most transformative innovations in modern history. His name was Karl Benz, and what he was quietly creating, unknown to most of the world, would forever revolutionize the way humans moved. It was the first true automobile, powered by an internal combustion engine, the Benz Patent-Motorwagen. Karl Benz was born in 1844, at a time when the world was witnessing great industrial advancements. Steam locomotives and ships were the main forms of mechanical transportation, but Benz, from an early age, envisioned something different. He dreamed of a vehicle that could be powered without tracks or the help of the wind, one that could traverse streets, roads, and pathways, driven by a reliable, compact, and efficient engine. However, like every great inventor, his path was paved with challenges, from seeking funding to the initial failures in creating a functional engine. But Benz was a man of unwavering persistence. After years of attempts, studies, and refinements, Benz finally presented the world with the first car in 1885. The Benz Patent-Motorwagen was a simple machine compared to modern vehicles, but for its time, it was a spectacular innovation. It had 3 wheels and a single-cylinder gasoline engine that produced 0.75 horsepower. The engine was located at the rear of the vehicle and was relatively small but powerful enough to move the car at a maximum speed of about 16 kilometers per hour. Today, this speed may seem laughable, but by the end of the 19th century, seeing a carriage move by itself without horses was nothing short of magical. The challenges of Benz, more than just an engine. To build the Patent-Motorwagen, Benz faced challenges not only of a technical nature but also social and financial ones. The idea of a gasoline-powered car was not widely accepted, and Benz had to deal with widespread skepticism. Many considered the idea impractical or even dangerous, and difficulties in securing financial support were constant. However, Benz was determined. He worked tirelessly to refine the engine and ensure that it was not only functional but also reliable. One of the major innovations he introduced was the use of a carburetor, which allowed for the proper mixing of fuel with air for the engine to run efficiently. Additionally, Benz was a pioneer in using electric ignition to start the engine, eliminating the need for a manual ignition system, making the process much more practical. The body of the Patent-Motorwagen was also simple, made of steel, with wooden wheels. The most notable aspect of the design was the steering wheel, or rather, the steering lever, which resembled a bicycle handlebar more than the modern steering wheels we know today. This choice made sense at the time, as bicycles were starting to gain popularity, and many of Benz's engineering ideas were inspired by them. Bertha Benz, the protagonist of a brave journey. But if the genius of Karl Benz was what conceived the first automobile, it was the courage and vision of his wife, Bertha Benz, that truly introduced it to the world. Without Karl's knowledge or consent, Bertha decided to demonstrate the potential of the automobile in a way that no one had ever imagined. In 1888, Bertha, accompanied by her 2 teenage sons, embarked on a journey that would forever change the history of the automobile. They left Mannheim, where they lived, and traveled to Pforzheim, about 106 kilometers away. This was the first long-distance journey in a motorized automobile in history. To us, traveling such a distance may seem trivial, but for Bertha, the journey was filled with challenges and unpredictabilities. Imagine driving a vehicle that no one had ever seen before on unpaved dirt roads, often without proper paving, with no gas stations, no garages, and with a machine that was, until then, experimental. There were no maps for automobiles, no signposts, and certainly no mechanics. The car was still primitive, and Bertha had to improvise several times during the trip. On one occasion, she used a hat pin to unclog the carburetor. On another, she used her own garter to insulate a damaged part of the ignition system. When the fuel ran out, she stopped at a pharmacy and bought Ligroin, a cleaning solvent that also served as fuel. Bertha also had to deal with the curiosity and astonishment of people along the way. Many had never seen such an incredible machine before, and Bertha, with her determination, became the protagonist of a spectacle never before witnessed. Her courage not only proved that the automobile was viable, but also highlighted the crucial role she played in Karl Benz's journey. Bertha was not just a supportive wife. She was an equally important partner in the history of the automobile. When Bertha and her children arrived in Pforzheim, her daring journey was a great success. The news of the adventure spread quickly, and the public began to see the automobile not as an eccentric curiosity but as a means of transportation with immense practical potential. The impact of innovation. Bertha Benz's journey and the success of the Patent-Motorwagen sparked interest not only among onlookers but also from investors and the press. Headlines spoke of the horseless carriage that traveled great distances on its own. With public attention focused on Benz's invention, he finally gained the necessary support to improve and market his automobile. Karl Benz's company, Benz and C, soon began to produce and sell motorized vehicles on a larger scale. Subsequent versions of the Patent-Motorwagen came with significant improvements, such as the addition of 4 wheels and more powerful engines. This advancement was just the beginning. From then on, the automotive industry would begin to grow exponentially. Other brilliant minds around the world were also experimenting with motorized vehicles, and soon the race to create faster, more powerful, and more accessible automobiles would accelerate. In the following years, mass production, led by figures like Henry Ford in the United States, would transform the automobile from a luxury item into a commodity accessible to the masses. Ford, with his famous Model T, manufactured starting in 1908, revolutionized the industry by introducing assembly lines and drastically reducing the cost of automobiles, making them affordable for ordinary workers. The legacy of Benz. The legacy of Karl Benz, however, will always be that of a pioneer who paved the way for all of this. His invention of the Patent-Motorwagen not only introduced the concept of the car as we know it today, but also showed that technological innovation has the power to completely change everyday life. He didn't just create a machine. He helped shape the modern world, where mobility is a basic right and an essential need. Today, when we look at advanced, electric, and autonomous cars, it's fascinating to think that it all started with a small 3-wheeled car powered by a rudimentary engine, and with a brave woman willing to risk everything to prove that her husband was right. Bertha Benz and Karl Benz, together, formed one of the most influential duos in the history of innovation. The automobile changed the world, and since then, the world has never been the same. If you enjoyed this video, please share, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. Thank you very much for watching.